CFA Sustainable Investing Certification Program. And this is all about how you should integrate your portfolio so that it weaves together and whole portfolio of yours follow, a direction which is with ESG factor one. I think you have to mute for till the time I'm talking. When you want to ask a question, you can always unmute and ask. Now, the new rule of investing today has come from that theoretical background of, each of the assets. Okay. Each of the asset, how you should consider sustainability. For example, if you are investing in equity or debt or alternative asset, each of them should have uh, a portion of it which is linked to sustainability aspect of the business. Now, imagine you are building a house, right? And you wouldn't just pick prettiest brick in the town, right? You would also check if they are sturdy, if they are ethically sourced, and whether they will withstand the future storms. Because you are not building your house for a day or two. You are building it for at least 50 to 100 years, right? Ideally, RCC buildings should withstand 100 years. So what we'll look into is not the prettiest brick in the town, but we'll look into its tensile strength, its load carrying or bearing capacity, etc. Now, that's exactly what ESG investing is all about. The building financial portfolio today. Uh, you have a question? You can ask. No. Okay, 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 okay. So we need to make sure that. Okay. So what I was talking about is that's exactly is ESG investing. Now, here we build the financial portfolio not by just good-looking high-return asset classes, but we also consider those financial instrument which looks beyond short-term profit to consider. For example, environmental, social, and governance factor. Now, welcome to the world of doing good and investing smart together. And that's what the integrated portfolio construction is all about. And they are not opposite. A lot of people think both the things, doing good to the society and investing smart, is opposite to each other. Actually, they are patterns or partners in this business, right? If one exists, the other automatically exists. So if you say I have done a smart investing for long term, eventually you are saying you have done something good for society and for future. Then only it can withstand tomorrow's challenges. And there are always three layers of this integration. Okay, how to integrate any portfolio with sustainability, you can do it with the layers, right? And these three layers of integration is actually building block to the approach. Think ESG integration like a building with a Lego bricks. Okay, you start with individual bricks and then you create a structure, and you do not know this structure will be sturdy, it will be withholding that requirement which you have in your mind when you are building it. Finally, when you assemble entire Lego pieces, you get the masterpiece. Correct? And that's what the level of constructions talk about. Level one is always security analysis, which is individual brick. We learn that in chapter 7. And this is the detective work at company level, right? This is the detective work at company level. Imagine you are considering investing in a coffee company. You would ask question like, does this coffee company is environmentally compliant? How much water they waste? Do they source beans sustainably? Are they exploiting too much of soil? Right? Social, do they pay fair wages to farmer? You will be asking that, right? Governance factor, you will be checking there is the CEO or the head of that farm, coffee farm, is transparent about the business practices, that how he's sourcing those beans, how he's sourcing those plantation, how it is maintaining water resources there, and how he's treating his employees. Here is what analysts dig into each company's fundamental, calculating what's it truly worth. And when you factor in these ESG risks, a coffee company that depletes water sources might face future cost when regulation tightens. That's where the hidden risk traditional analysis might miss. Level two is all about building a portfolio. So one security analysis, another debt instrument, another real estate project which you are doing, you add them all together. And now you are stepping back into your entire collection of investment. It is like reviewing your whole Lego city, not just individual building which you are building up there. Let's say you own a stock in 10 different company, Tata, Birla, Reliance, Adani. At this level, you are asking what my total exposure to carbon intensive industries are. So if you are in the cement, you will be worried. If a carbon tax gets into, or not tomorrow, it's already there now. CBAM is introduced. If it is introduced on 1st January 2026, how badly would your portfolio will get hit will be your question. Because you have three stocks which are exposed to cement industry, two stocks in steel industry, given your background in civil engineering, right? And now 50% of your exposure is only coming from one risk, which is CBAM risk. Are you getting out of 10, 5, out of 10, 5 are risks exposed to CBAM? Are my ESG risk concentrated in one sector, or is it is spread out? This is where the middle out approach comes in. You are managing risk across your strategy, ensuring you are not accidentally loading up on your company that could face some climate related shock, right? You are already considering all this when you are building up your portfolio. So you will not take a exposure to only cement and steel. You will try to write them off, because you know there will be 10 to 30, even 40% penalty will be there. Third layer is a strategic asset allocation layer, which we learn in the beginning of the chapter in chapter one. And this is the master plan. This is the architect view of 30,000 view perspective here we are talking about. Before even you pick an individual brick or company, you are deciding how much you want to invest in total Lego City, right? How much you actually want to invest in the stock versus bond. You are making that decision at the top. US versus international market exposure. Do you trust Trump or do you trust the Europeans? You have to make that decision. Traditional asset versus alternative is like real estate. Here is the kicker: 90% of your investment returns come from big picture allocation, not from picking up individual stocks. 90%. How much? 90% of your investment return comes from big picture allocation, not from the individual stock. It's like how the foundation and the structure of your house matters more than the color you paint the wall. If climate change is a systemic risk today, and a spoiler it is, you need a account for it at foundational level. And what is that foundational level in the financial world? It is a strategic asset allocation. You can just sprinkle ESG awareness on top of it, call it a day, right? If you have that bigger picture, because each of that 30,000 view pixel is a kilometer ground on the ground, isn't it? You know that, right? That when we look from outside window of the aeroplane, we think it is just a pixel on the ground, but when you map it, it will maybe beyond even kilometer. So if you sprinkle little bit of awareness at that layer, automatically you are protected. Clear? Now, 90% rule is very important to learn. 90% rule research shows that portfolio returns, right? Portfolio return variability come from strategic asset allocations and not individual stock picking. And let's that sink in. This means that if you are worried about climate risk, but only thinking about when picking individual stock, you are addressing 10% of your risk exposure. It is like fireproofing your furniture actually. While ignoring that, your wall are made of kindling, right? Right. Have you heard that nursery story of three little pigs brings a straw, build